Are you surveying your audience to find out exactly what it is that they want right now? Because we have been serving entrepreneurs, and I'm curious to see, what do you think the number one thing is that people are asking for right now? Let me know in the comments. Do you think they're asking for like more info about events or connection or specific leadership? What do you think? Let me know. Put it in the comments. The number one thing that they're saying that they need is motivation. Okay, so I'm going to leave that thought there for a second, and I want you to think about that. So people are wanting motivation. But first of all, we have to understand that if we're going to lead a group of people, if we're going to have any kind of movement, then we really have to land our communication. And we have to be listening to what our audience needs and respond appropriately to them. So first of all, I think it helps when you're leading someone to be really clear about what you stand for, what you believe in, what your core values are, so that you can speak that out and you can attract that type of person that you're looking for that align with your core values. So let's talk about core values right now, and then we'll talk about how leading people in a certain way can lead to getting them what they want, to getting yourself what you want, and then ultimately building your leadership and your movement. Okay, so just as an example, one of the things that is really important to me is making sure that my son is educated and that he learns in a way that works best for him. So this year we made the decision to homeschool him. So that's a value of mine, right? And so that also plays into like, okay, well, how are we going to balance making sure he's educated, making sure that he's spending time with family and friends and he still gets that socialization, but he also gets like really cool opportunities that he wouldn't normally have if he was in the public school system. And again, if you are having your kids go to private or public school, that's fine. That's totally everyone's choice to have their kid educated however they want. This is a move that we made strategically for him, and we had been thinking about it for a couple of years, and we had the opportunity to pull the trigger. So that's a core value of ours in our personal life. So think about what that could be for you, either in your personal life or in your business. Stay with me, I'm bringing this full circle. So in the homeschooling example, the goal, the result is that we get my son educated in a way that makes him feel empowered. It builds his self-esteem. It builds the belief in himself. He doesn't feel frustrated most days. He feels challenged, but he's also already becoming very focused and goal-oriented. We're like, here's the work for the week. You can delegate it out however you like to. If you want to give yourself a long weekend, that's your choice, because we're training him to think like an entrepreneur. And then what could you do with that extra time that you have? We could fill it with playing music, trying to book gigs for you because he's a musician. We can learn a foreign language of your choice, and then we've been having fun doing that a couple days a week. So he thought he wanted to learn German, and then he decided, no, I think, Mom, I'm going to learn Italian with you. So we're giving him all that flexibility and autonomy and as many choices as possible, because we are training him to think for himself, to be able to still meet all of his deadlines and responsibilities, but he gets to choose how fast that gets done while still maintaining quality and still having a sense of self and a lot of choice. Okay, so that was a personal example, but for you, think about right now, what is it for you that is your goal for your business? Right now, write it down in the chat. Let's get a conversation started. So tell us in the comments, like, what is that one goal that either you've been wanting to accomplish, it's like gnawing at you, you really want to get it done, but it hasn't come together. What is it? Tell us in the comments. I want you to put it in the comments, because when we talk together and we get a conversation started, it helps with brainstorming. It's leadership. It helps give us really concrete information about you and what you need specifically, so that we can tailor the message to you. But I also want you to write it down so that you can do something with this information after we're off the video. So part of that survey is, the entrepreneurs are like, yeah, I really am struggling with motivation. I need more motivation. The other thing is there's too much information. So I love that we get to connect. I love that we get information, but we're getting it so much on a daily basis, Monday through Friday, that I can't actually implement and do anything with it, because I get one piece of information, I start working on that, and then I get another day's worth, and then it just feels like I'm behind. And for those of you who are thinking about starting a membership site, just a little aside, or if you have one, you should know that the number one reason that people cancel is because they feel overwhelmed and they feel behind. So you can actually offer a little less, and that would actually keep them more engaged. Just a hot tip, little side tip. So if you're going live every single day, yes, it's really great for your platform. It's good to keep your views up. It's good to produce leads. But if your audience is telling you, hey, like, I love seeing you, but I can't implement any of this, then like, what are we doing, right? Like, is it really in our best interest to keep showing up every day and providing value, even though that's important, if they're telling us it's overwhelming and we're not able to implement anything? So you could switch that if you're getting that feedback, going from every day, Monday through Friday, to perhaps once or twice a week. And then you can supplement your content with like making pre-recorded videos and still having something that you're delivering to the audience every day. But maybe it just looks a little bit different, because when you have that one-on-one or like one-to-many appointment with people, like on a live, then they feel like they're a part of something, which they are. And you don't want them to feel so overwhelmed that they are like, oh, there's no possible way for me to implement. I feel so behind. I'm just going to stop watching. You don't want that either. So there needs to be a balance on how you do that. So again, what is your goal that you need to focus on? Just one singular goal that if you accomplished that, it would really move the needle forward for your business and it would serve your audience. So let us know. So back to the core value systems, you just ask yourself in this example, do I want to be effective or do I want to be entertaining, right? And so more than anything, you want to be effective. You want your audience to get results, right? Because if they're getting results and they're winning, then they're really excited. They'll keep coming back, right? And then you can continue to serve them and probably work with them at a deeper level, and it's a win-win scenario. But if they're telling us, oh, it's too much, then are we just entertaining them? And what kind of value is that? So we want to be effective in our communication, in our leadership, and we want to be good listeners. So again, you can do lots of things other than going live. You can make pre-recorded content. You could have a pocket coaching where you send a voice memo to your list. You could email them. You can send them something of value. So there are all these different ways that you can stay in touch with them in different ways that offer value and maybe more micro-sized pieces that they can absorb and do something with quickly. So think about the goals that you have in your life right now or in your business. Are they designed by someone else, or have you intentionally thought about them? Or has it kind of just been like a default because you've been putting out fires and it feels a little haphazard? So we want to get to the point where we're making intentional choices and we have a plan that will move things forward. Because what happens a lot of times is we're like, oh, I'm not really sure what to do. This person that I respect said this, maybe I should do that. And then you get shiny object syndrome and you're like, oh, that looks good. Maybe we should try that. Oh, that looks good. Maybe we should try that. And you like have half-baked ideas that are kind of started, but nothing is totally coming together. And if it's not coming together quick enough, you're like, oh, move on to the next thing. Or maybe I shouldn't keep investing in that. And I am completely guilty of that as well. And let me tell you, it makes you spin. You don't feel in control. So one of the things I really want to drive home is that we've got to get clear on what our core values are and what our vision is for our company, and how do we want to lead ourselves, and how do we want to lead our team and our audiences. So the reason it's important to get clear on that is so that you have a clear vision, but it's also thinking about like, what is the internal culture of your business? How do people show up at work? How do they interact with each other? Do they deliver things on time? Are they providing a great customer service experience for the customers? So all of these things are really important and they all tie into that. So once you're clear on what your core values are, then you can look at people who are further ahead of you who have what you want to create, and you can model what they're doing, and you can get mentorship from them as well. So this is part 1 of a series that I'm doing, and I want you to think about that. So as we wrap this up, let me know in the comments, what is your core value, or just a couple core values that you have that you really want to start focusing on and building a foundation around those in your business. Knowing our core values for ourselves and our business is really what's going to help us. And it's really one of the first steps in order to have a really clear goal met, right? So you've got to be clear about like, what is our vision? What do we stand for? What do we believe in? What do we definitely not believe in? So the things that you align with, you want to be clear in your messaging. If you believe in God and you want that to be part of your brand, you can talk about that, and you don't have to be a people pleaser about it. If you don't want to talk about God at all, it's just a secular company, then just do that, But the point is that you stand for something and people know what the vision is and what you stand for, and then you can go after your goals with those core values at the forefront of everything that you do. It's the foundation of everything that you do, and you lead from that place, if that makes sense. Okay, so let me give you a practical example. I had a friend who was engaged to a man, and he was a wonderful person, but he didn't align with her. He aligned with her mother. So not that he was into her mother, but what I'm saying is the ideals that she had, her mother had, like she just took those on as like, oh, those are nice, those are appropriate, those are the things. And then one day she woke up and she was like, he aligns with everything that my mom wants and stands for, and these are not the things that I want. I have ambition, I have goals. Like I don't need a man to take care of me and help me stay home. And there's nothing wrong with that if that's what you want, but that was not in alignment with her vision, right? So her vision was like, I want someone to come alongside me and be my partner. I want us to like be in awe of each other. I want us to encourage each other and challenge each other. I want us to have the same vision for our parenting and for our children. You know, like we want to be on the same page. And she was like, this isn't the right guy for me. I can't marry him. I can't go any further. I love him, but we're not in alignment, and this is really going to be a problem, and it will be better to just be clear about that now before it goes any further. So where does that lead you with your business? Have you been just following what the industry standards are telling you, what you hear people say, what maybe somebody of influence in your life has guided you to do, or have you intentionally thought about what are the things that matter in your business? Where are you leading people? And what is the direction that you want to go, and how do you want to deliver that message? How do you want to serve them? And so when you think about those things, start writing them down. Start getting a clear vision, like I want to support them in the following ways. I want to motivate them. I want to educate them. I want to encourage them. Maybe I want to make them laugh. Maybe I want to bring in some experts to talk about things that would support them, but it's not my expertise. So those are all different types of things to start thinking about. Also check in with yourself. Do you need approval? Do you need people to like be on board with your mission? I mean, of course you want people to like support you and encourage you and like follow you, right? You don't want to be so controversial that like nobody likes what you have to say, but a little controversy is good, right? Because you divide the audience. Some people you're going to totally attract. This is exactly who, you know, the audience member that you're looking for. And then you're going to repel other people. So the clearer you can get with what you stand for and what you value, then the clearer you can get with your messaging. And you'll have people who are like your raving fans, and then other people who just can't stand you, or like are just like, I'm out. This is not for me. Cool. You know, everybody should have that choice, but they should be really clear about what it is that you stand for. And you don't need to be apologetic about it. You don't have to be a jerk about it, right? But you can be clear. A common blind spot that entrepreneurs have is they'll ignore the feedback that they're getting from the audience. So for example, let's say you have an agenda that you're going to be teaching something about marketing, and then everybody's like, hey, can you show me how to do this one tiny little piece of it? And you're like, yeah, like I'll show you, but like you never really get to it because you think it's not really the thing that you want to focus on. But everybody is like, but could you just go back and teach me this one thing because I'm not clear about it? And you're like, don't people know about this? Or like, it just seems so insignificant, and I feel like I don't really want to spend a lot of time on this. Like maybe you're like, I don't want to keep talking about building an email list. But if you listen to them and they're like, I don't have anybody to sell to, and what happens when social media goes away or they change their algorithm, like then I won't have anyone to sell to, and I won't have the sales coming in. And so if you lead with compassion and you lead with like knowing that this is what the people actually need, they need to understand the importance of having an email list, for example. And so if they're like constantly saying like, I'm scared because like I don't have a backup plan if social media changes something, because it's for rent, right? You don't own anything. So you need to create a digital asset. And one of those, you know, the foundational thing to create safety is to build an email list. So I think it's important that you listen to your audience and you see their fears and you lead with compassion, and you're like, okay, let's talk about that. And let's talk about some of the ways that you can build that. And let's show you some of the things that you can do so that you're building a solid foundation and it's safer and less risky. Because some of you are pushing an agenda, you're pushing what you think is the right thing to do, and you could have a blind spot where you're just not paying attention to your audience and what they need. And if you can just have some humility and be open to thinking about like, how could I see this differently, or how could I serve in a greater capacity? It could be just taking a step back and just doing one simple thing. So this could extend everywhere in our lives, right? So if we're being defensive and we're not seeing things in a different way, or we may have a blind spot, and we may not be open to the feedback that we're receiving, where else is that showing up? Because it could affect our relationships personally, it could affect business deals, it could affect your relationships with your team. So it's important to just check in with that and say, like, where have I been defensive, or where have I been frustrated? And not make yourself wrong, but get curious about like, how could that go a little bit differently? And I think you'll start seeing like, the more you can be vulnerable and open and responsible, the stronger your leadership will be. So it just requires you to let go of being right and to be open for curiosity. And if you could do that, you open yourself to an insane amount of cash flow if you can listen to your audience and give them what they need. The context in which you can see things and see like how quickly they can come together with certain actions that you take, or how you can serve people in a greater way just by having compassion and listening to them, the greater that you'll start having more results, and you'll start hitting the goals that are important to you. And you'll also see that your audience is really responsive to you listening to them and serving them at a greater level. Okay, so for human nature, whenever we're feeling like we're failing at something, we pull back, right? And if we can just press through that and step up to the pain and face it, we can get to the other side a lot faster. So remember, you've already committed to something. Until you've hit it, you keep at it until you've hit it. So you've already committed to it. You're in the pain, you're in the frustration, you're in the failure. Commit to it and get through it. So every time you back down from the pain, you get back into the box, right? And if you just try a few different strategies, you can find your way out and you can find your way through it. So that's what we want to try here with this. So what are your goals? What are your core values? Write them on a piece of paper and also write them in the chat. Frustration and overwhelm, it creates worry, right? So how many of you are overwhelmed right now? Let me know. One of the things that is a big deception is that we've got to do this in private and we've got to suffer silently. But if we can realize that this is actually a pretty common thing with entrepreneurs and we can feel a sense of community, we can bust through that a lot faster with support. Because it creates an energy when you're isolated. It creates this energy of like, I can't ask for help. And it creates this downward spiral of being alone and sinking and failing and not knowing, like, how are we ever going to come out of this? So if you can like self-identify, hey, I'm struggling in this area and I really need some support in the following ways, that's really going to help you out. Not only in business, also in relationship. Okay, so whether that is a money goal, it's a new hire goal, whatever it is, we want to have that one focus and we want to know why. So if we hire someone, how will that free up your time? How will that generate more sales? And really get the vision of like what is required, right? So if we have a certain amount of sales, then we can support this salary and then that will create X, Y, and Z in the business, right? So when we're failing or we're feeling stuck or we're feeling isolated, it's really not, we just back down or we give up and then we don't realize our goals and then it affects our self-esteem and it affects our productivity, our energy, and it affects everyone else around us. So it's really important to get a handle on that. But let me know in the comments what you're committed to for your one goal and what some of your core values are. And let me know what you're doing to take action. So we've been talking about core values in our business, for ourselves, with our business, and then the one goal that we're going after in our business based on all those core values. And we're talking about how we can commonly feel isolated. We can commonly feel like we're failures and that whatever we're going for isn't coming together, it's not working, and it can make us feel like losers, like failures, like we're not going to be able to do it. And we have a choice. We can back down from that. We can withdraw, which is a very common response, and we can feel stuck or give up entirely. Or we can say, hey, I need some support with this, right? So have you ever started like a fitness routine and a fitness goal and you're like, okay, I'm serious. Like I really want to challenge myself. I want to achieve like, you know, like maybe some body fat loss, or you want to increase your muscle or whatever. So you hire a trainer, they get you on a program and you're in this safety zone, right? You've got this clear roadmap. And if you stay within these guidelines and you follow these the coaching and you follow everything that they're telling you to do, you're going to get that desired result. And doesn't that feel so good? There's energy, there's momentum, and there's results, right? And it builds your self-esteem, it builds your self-worth, it builds your belief, and you've got a system, you've got structure, and then you've got a predictable outcome. So that same thing can happen inside of your business when you've got the right systems in place and you've got the right guidance and support. It can help you with anything that you need. So what happens when you don't have a system and you're just trying to piece it together? Nothing ever really gets off the ground. It doesn't ever get together, and it usually causes confusion and chaos, right? And I've totally experienced that in my own business, and that's why I want to take time to make sure that we've got a solid foundation. And where we don't have a solid foundation, we identify it, and then we can start creating goals to fix that and create a system without overwhelm so that the system can run even if you're not there, because you don't want to be the system, right? So this is the problem. If you stay within the structure, you're safe, it's predictable, right? But if you're treating your business or your finances like it's on a diet instead of a lifestyle, that's a problem. So I ask you right now, what are some of the core values in your life right now? Let me know in the chat. Have you stopped and really said what's really important to you in your relationships, in your business, in your parenting? Like, have you really identified that? If not, think about it and let us know. Like, what are the things that are really important to you that you want to go after? So for example, for me, money is critically important to me. It solves almost any problem that you have. It provides options. It gives you choice in just about any situation. And without it, even the most basic things become really challenging, if not impossible, right? It's important to me that I'm a great mom. It's important to me that I have love in my life. It's important to me that I have adventure and I get to travel. So these are some of my personal core values. What are they for you? Another one of my values is to be generous, right? Because the more I can be generous, the more I can impact people in a positive way and I can help them. And if you think about when you're making an offer, how can you be more generous? How can you hook them up? Also, God is a big part of my life, and if God's not a part of your life, that's okay. I still want you here. But I mean, he's a huge part of my life, and so it's not really a part of my business, but like, it's good to know, like, what are the clear things in your life that are important to you, that are like, this is who I am, right? And you don't have to make yourself wrong about that, and you don't have to apologize for it, and you don't have to try to be a people pleaser about it. It's just who you are and what's important to you, and the people that align with that will be attracted to you, and the people that don't will be repelled. And people may not align with everything that you say, but they might still like you and want to hang out and like learn more from you anyway, right? So you never know. So when you're really generous with your offer, you can think about things in terms of like, how can I really hook them up, right? So that might be like, you have a program that you've been selling for $3,000, and maybe you do something really crazy if it aligns with your business and you can afford to do that and give them a massive discount, right? Don't do that if that would harm you. But generosity is not based in scarcity, right? So you have abundance, you have more than enough. So where can you be abundant and generous without expecting anything in return other than just to feel like I'm blessing them, I'm hooking them up. This is going to really benefit them in some positive way, because the more you can be generous, the more that'll come back to you as well. So it's a win-win. In order to take on more responsibility and not feel like I'm working constantly, I need more structure. I need to have a system. In order to make more money, I need to be consistent. I need to make myself more available. I need to have it scheduled in my calendar. I need the structure. So I want to ask you right now, are you living a life according to your value system? So it's important to note that. Don't make yourself wrong about it, but note it. Like, if you're not happy or you feel like you're not in alignment with your value system, this is a time to identify it and prioritize what are the things that are important to me, where do I want to begin, and how do I want to implement that, whether that's in my personal life and of course in business. So if we're looking at your business, what is one core value that's super important to you that will help you achieve the goal that you have? Let us know. Once you're clear about your core values, you can start talking about them, and that can just be a part of your conversation when you're on live, when you're with your coaching clients, if you're coaching them. They get a chance to get a sense of your values, and the people that align with that will come after it. Like, if I'm a mom and I'm entrepreneurial and I'm trying to go to the next level, I'm trying to make millions of dollars in my business, I'm going to find someone who I see has the life that I want. They've got a good marriage, they're a great mom, they've got one business that's thriving or perhaps multiple. That's a person I'm interested in following. They've got similar values. So what is that for you? If you can start speaking about that and being those things, embodying those things, even if it's not necessarily part of the business, people will be attracted because of you. Like they might come for specific content, but they stay because of you. So you can be generous right now and share in the chat what are some of the values that are important to you. This is great leadership. This is a chance to produce engagement. This is a chance for you to connect with other people who are like-minded. And it just shows you like you're not alone. And you can start seeing similarities that people have right here in this community. And that's the thing about marketing. When you stand for something, you're going to attract people who are like, yeah, I'm totally there. I'm on board with you. And you're going to maybe attract some haters or attract some opposition where they might follow you just to like negate everything that you're saying, or they might just like completely be repelled. That's fine. You just want to find your target people and you want to weed out the people that don't need to be there. So when you look at your core value system, this is where you start creating structure for your goals. So right now you have the choice. You can finish this year strong, and you can have a specific goal with specific structure and specific deadlines and milestones that you're going to hit, or you can just relax and let the year go by and it won't be very memorable. So when you're looking at this year, the rest of the year is still here. You've got the last quarter we haven't even gotten into Q4 at the time of this recording, right? So what do you want the rest of this year to be known for? What do you want to look back on it and then there's like a stamp of like, this was an epic moment. This was the moment that I achieved something that I've been trying to achieve for so long. This is the year that I finally got my first sale, or this is the year that I hit 100,000 or I hit 1 million, whatever your goal is. This is the year that I hired a team. What is your goal? Let me know in the chat. Think about what would that feel like if you achieved that goal? Like really think about it. How would that feel? What would that mean for you? What if something's not clicking for you because it doesn't mean enough for you? I totally resonate with that. There are so many things that I tried to just drive forward because I thought I needed to, or it seemed like the only path, but I have no energy for it. Like I'm not motivated, I'm not excited. And so it's important that you look at that and you're like, do I need to do something about this? Can someone else, or do we need to completely cut it off? And that's not the same as like, oh, this goal is boring and it's getting hard. It's like, am I off purpose here? Did I, and this shouldn't be something that happens all the time, but if you're continuously going after this one thing, it's like, you do every once in a while want to look at it and say like, am I off purpose? Or do I need to go until I've hit the goal that I said, that I declared that I was going to hit? Most of the time you should be going after it, but sometimes you need to be prudent and be like, I might be off purpose. So we've been talking about core values and goals. And what I'm asking is, what if you don't have a goal that is on purpose? What if you're distracted by all these different things because you think this is the thing that might get me the money the fastest, but maybe it's just not on purpose and it doesn't really mean anything to you? And that could be a core reason why you're going from thing to thing to thing to thing, because you're not clear on what your values are or what your goal is. You don't have a strong enough vision that is keeping you planted and keeping you moving towards that goal. That may not be everyone, but it is for someone. And I feel like it is for everyone at different seasons of our lives. So it's good to be prudent about that and to look at like, am I on purpose? Am I off purpose? Do I have a clear goal? Do I have a clear vision? And is it so strong that it propels me forward and keeps me focused? Some of us have gotten so used to failing financially or in relationships or in different areas of our lives that we're just like, all right. And then you just don't have that fire and you just kind of back off from it and you just kind of like settle. I don't want you to settle anymore. Okay. So where have you been settling in your life? Where have you been settling for failure? Are you going into a campaign and you've got this energy like, I'll go through the motions and I'll build it and I'll create it, but I don't think it's going to work out. I don't think it's going to come together. I don't think anyone's going to see it. I don't think we're going to build an audience. I think we're just going to waste our money and our time. And then it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. and then nothing comes together. But what if you were excited about it? What if you believed in the project? What if you believed that this was going to help people? And it wasn't just about you, right? It wasn't just about your success. Yes, that's important. Yes, that's why we're in business, right? But it's also a higher purpose is to actually help people get what they want. And if you help enough people get what they want, you'll get what you want too, right? Okay, so go in the chat. Be bold here. Where are you emotionally giving up? Where are you emotionally saying like, this isn't going to come together, and you're just kind of like defeated before you start or in the middle of it or the whole time? Where are you just feeling defeated and giving up? Let's just declare what it is so that it can lose its power, and then we can refocus and get back on track. Trust me, there's more shame in not sharing it and keeping it secret, right? Release the power that's over that by just saying it and being bold and leading yourself in a way like, okay, I'm going to do something different. I'm going to be vulnerable here. I'm going to declare I feel completely defeated and not even sure of my own leadership. I'm not sure that this is going to work out. I'm not sure. I'm putting all this money into something and I don't know if it's going to work. I've been investing for such a long time. I've been trying to get things to get together, or I've been doing this and this and this, and I've been trying to be focused and go all in. And then maybe I've come to the point where I'm like, I've got to cut my losses here. And then you're like, did I invest enough time in it, or did I give up too soon? You know, and there's all this second guessing. If that's you, it's okay. It's common, but you can get refocused. Don't hide it. Just put it out into the light. So trust yourself. Try something new. The more specific you can be in the chat, the better. So if you're like, I'm trying to make my first sale online, and I've tried this, this, and this, and nothing has worked. And now we're all in on focusing on this one thing. Like, be really specific, not just say, oh, I want to make money. Like, how much money do you want to make and by when? Where have you given up though? Where are you giving up? Where are you just like, I'm not sure if I have any belief left. Like, I still have desire, but like, I just feel so beat down. Where do you need to have some re-energization? Is that a word? Where do you need to be re-energized? Okay, that's too many questions. Where have you given up? Let me know in the chat. What is non-action or inaction giving you in your life? What is it producing? Is it producing results, or is it producing failure? Is it producing being stuck? You should be running to the comments right now and shedding light on what the problem is, because that is empowering. It releases the power of this thing over you so that you can break it, and it also empowers other people to be brave and do the same thing. Relief to see that you're not the only one. It will give you relief to release that power and decide, okay, we're gonna draw the line in the sand and we're gonna do something differently, because I'm no longer accepting failure in this. Okay, so now we're gonna flip and we're gonna move past it. So if you're going to realign to what it is that you want, shorter goals, in my opinion, are what are going to make it faster and better and easier to achieve. So shorter goals, smaller goals are better for when you're coming from a place of inaction, when you're coming from a place of defeat, or you're feeling stuck, or you're feeling withdrawn, or you're feeling like, man, I need some motivation. I've been stuck, nothing's coming together, right? So this is a quick way, short little sprints with a specific goal. Those are the ways to build the self-esteem, to build the momentum, and to get re-energized. How many of you started a mastermind program and you started getting results and then you pulled back? Or you got into counseling, you worked on your relationship and it started getting better and then you pulled back? Or you got into a fitness routine and you were working out and you started seeing results and then you pulled back? And then what happened to those results? When you were outside and you thought, okay, I'm gonna take the wheel, I can do this. Did you maintain that same level of productivity and results? Or what happened? Did it go off the rails? Because that's what usually happens. Let me know that in the chat. Even the top people in their industry or in their specific genre, let's say it's a fitness instructor, even the top people, they have fitness instructors. Why? Because they're always trying to level up and they don't want to let anything backslide. They don't want to get weaker. They want to at least maintain, but most of them, they want to go to the next level, right? So stay hungry. And if you can't provide that for yourself, which is really hard to maintain, then have some support. You know, and there are some people who are great. They've got a lot of support in different areas of their lives. The things that matter the most, they spend the money on. So you can see where people value things by where they're putting their money. So many people are choosing the slower route, trying to figure it out themselves, trying trial and error instead of hiring people to help them. Okay, so here's a demonstration, and I'm going to ask you to write for yourself right now so that you'll have this afterwards. So when you're producing active income, you have to actively work to produce that, right? So who knows that they need some help with that? Do you need help with that? Do you need some support? Or are you good? Have you figured that part out? If you're here and you're still watching this, you probably want some extra support, right? Who knows you need help to get out of your own way right now? Listen, at some point, you need to stop disappointing yourself. You need to stop settling for failure, and you need to hire somebody that can help you out, that can give you that support, that can come alongside you, hold you accountable, teach you things, shortcut the process, right? We don't want trial and error. We want to figure this thing out. We want a roadmap. We want a system that actually takes it all the way to the finish line, right? So you need to remember that when you're following up with people, when you're trying to serve your audience, there's going to be failure, and then success. So if you have compassion for them, how much are you going to keep following up with them? Until you don't care about them anymore, hopefully. So if someone is following up with you, don't be a jerk to them, right? Maybe you're annoyed with them, but it shows that they care. If you're a jerk to them, then they'll stop caring and they'll stop following up with you. So active income, you need to take some of that money and you need to turn it into passive income with some sort of investment, right? Because you want that money to grow and have babies. So if money becomes a problem or time becomes a problem, I restructure my life so that I can hit my commitments, so that I can hit my goals. So remember, the goal needs to be a very specific amount so that you can track it. So we want to match the monetary goal, the financial goal, with the personal goal, the why, the thing that's driving you, so that you never get off purpose. So if you do this every 60 days, you can really check in to make sure that you're on purpose, right? Are you hitting your target financial goal? And are you on purpose with how you want to live your life, right? Because in the meantime, you're filling up your calendar with things that are distracting you. And that might be a good sign and a good anchor to prune things off that don't need to be there and to really dial it in. When you have too many things on your plate, you start to spin and you stop hitting your goal. Okay, so who's having a breakthrough right now? Let me know. So what do you need to recommit to right now? You need to restructure your life to have the things that you want. If you want a partner and you don't have a partner, you need to restructure your life to make room for that. With kids, with a business, with anything. So it's insane not to take a look at this and weed the things out that are not serving you, and to just spend a little time so that you can focus on what are the things that are in alignment for you. The problem is that you're living in reaction instead of taking charge and planning. So this is why we're taking the time to walk through this so that you can be very intentional and very clear about the life that you want, the income that you want, and the impact that you want. So we've been talking about triggers and pulling back and not finishing. And for some of you, if you just had a solid plan, if you just had a roadmap, some structure of how you're going to do things and have systems in place, then, and you can relieve some pressure, you would be able to get up, go faster, go harder, take the faster route. You would be able to increase your bandwidth. You would have more ability to get things done and still have yourself in alignment with your goals, your core values. You can have systems in place so that your business can run and you can still have a life. All these things become possible. When we're overwhelmed and we're triggered, it's hard to imagine getting on the other side of it, or just not giving up, or feeling like, oh, I guess I can't do anything, I'm a failure. Whatever that pattern is for you, it's going to continue to show up until you start disrupting it. And you can disrupt it with really great structure so that, like willpower is a muscle and it does get tired. So you want to have structure in place to help support you. You want to have the systems that you need. Q4 is just about here, Q4, right? You could create a whole year's goal and crush it in the last quarter if you had the right structure in place, if you had the right plan and process and support. You could do it. I'm not saying that you will, but it is possible. So your business needs structures in place. And the first thing you need to do is know what your core values are, what your goals are, who you're serving, who you're talking to, and what you're going to deliver to them. I've written a book to help you get started with that, create the systems that you need to have marketing foundational pieces in place. And if you're starting out, you can go from the beginning of the book to the end. And if you've been in business for a while, but you need some tweaks, you can just go to the appropriate chapter, get what you need from it, implement it, and keep going. So I also offer one-on-one support, and I also offer an affiliate course that I think is really helpful. It's called the Roadmap Exclusive, and it pairs so well with my book because they supplement each other. So you can use the book as a guide. You can also use the software as training to go deeper. There's a community there that will support you and ask questions. And together, both of these things work really well hand in hand. If you need some more support, you can also book a call with me and we can talk more deeply about your specific issues. Anyway, I hope this series has been helpful for you, and I hope it provides a lot of value, and there'll be more to come. But the more that you participate in the comments and in the conversation and giving me direct feedback, then I know specifically what to provide tailored just for you. See you next time.